my name is Jordan.
And I'm Marnie.
Welcome to Broke Teachers Travel. Mom, I would say you have some experience, taking toddlers and, maybe some babies, like your favorite youngest child, to theme parks, wouldn't you say?
I would say I have. I think I've done it a few times, you and your brother both. Yes.
I think that those are some of our favorite memories were when we were little kids and we would go to the theme parks with our parents. I think that that was honestly some of the best times that we've had together.
Well, honestly, it's some of the best times your dad and I have had with you guys. It's memories we treasure and will never, ever forget.
Not only are those memories that you treasure forever, but those memories are also free memories. And that is something we
Yes.
love here at Broke Teachers Travel is what's the word? Free.
I like the free. But that makes a difference. It really does. It saves a lot of money. I mean, because you're looking at minimum $100+ per day per park.
Yes. I
So
believe
that,
like at Disney, it's like $109 per day if you're over the age of 3.
yeah,
It is
yeah,
very, very expensive.
yeah. So I mean, that can be a huge money saver, but it
Yeah.
can also be a way to make those unforgettable memories.
Yes, and it's also getting your child out from in front of a screen as well. Leave the screens
Yes,
at home if you go.
please, as a teacher of young children, please get them out from in front of those screens for a while. They need to run around and see things and live the adventures and have the fun moments. And it's so good for them.
I'm like 22 years old, and I think some of the funniest times that I had was like in line playing like Miss Mary Mac. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, like the double double this game, like yeah, those were some of my favorite memories while I was waiting in line. Don't let those memories die. Do them with your children, okay?
I'm
Like
pretty sure your dad can still do that today.
that's shocking, but I mean, there's no telling which version of it that is the one that he remembers because I
It
probably
got changed
because it
so
kept
many
changing.
times. Yeah.
But seriously, get your kids out from in front of the screen. Take them to the parks. They are going to be memories that you will love forever.
Yes, 100%. And you think that the kids don't remember it because they're young. They do. And even if they don't, you do.
Yeah, I mean, I personally remember whenever I was like 3 years old and Wishes was still going on at Disney. And at that time, I couldn't ride some of the like more, you know,
Challenging.
adventurous,
Yeah.
challenging rides. And I just remember you and I would walk around and we would go watch the fireworks from different angles of the parks. And that was one of like my favorite things was just being able to go do that. Or like you and I would go watch a show if like we were at Animal Kingdom or something. Like we could go watch Festival of the Lion King or like Nemo. Like those two things were like really great whenever I was younger,
They're
just
still
because
great.
yeah, they're still great today. But, you have those advantages with toddlers, and that's
Yeah.
super great. Like, there is stuff to do. Do not automatically get it out of your head right now that you cannot do theme parks with children and toddlers. I see that too much, and it honestly breaks my heart because those memories are memories that will last for a lifetime.
Yes.
Not
There are attractions that you can ride with your children and you get to hold them in your lap. And you're
Mhm.
experiencing that together. I mean,
Yes.
it's so much fun and it's so special. Don't
Yes.
don't pass up that opportunity.
Mhm, and, I feel like we've learned a lot, especially, like I mean, obviously, I was the second born, so there's been a lot since Skip, like, he old man, my brother's an old man now, and, I mean, he's really not, he's, like, what, 5.5 years older than me? But,
Yes.
a lot has evolved in a 27-year time frame, so we want to share with you some of the things that we learned since I was, a little bit younger, like, I'm 22 now. Like, let's talk about like 20 years of evolution of things that we have learned in our
Of baby
travel
things.
experience.
Yes.
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 And, I think one of the things that we learned was about strollers. And I think you've
Yes.
got a lot to say about how the new strollers are today and that they are far better than what they used to
Oh,
be.
so much better. So much better. Um, if at all possible, if you have a baby or a young toddler, bring your own stroller. I
Yes.
know it seems like a giant pain, and I know there are places that you can rent strollers. Trust me when I say your little one is going to be more comfortable in their own stroller.
Yes,
It can
absolutely.
be a trip changer. It can change your whole trip. It can set the tone for the entire vacation. Because if that baby is not comfortable and in a familiar place, things are not going to end well.
No, no, they won't. I have heard a lot of crying babies because they are not comfortable. And I mean, the look is literally all over their face. Children don't hide their emotions. I promise you that. They are like, what on earth did you do with my stroller? I am not happy.
Yes. And honestly, if you don't want to lug one, if you're flying or and you it's you're thinking about checking one, if you don't want to do that, look into shipping your own stroller to your resort where you're
Yes,
staying
absolutely.
because that's an option too.
And one thing I will say too, one, make sure that you check the dimensions of your stroller that it is allowed in the park because one
Yes.
thing to keep in mind, they do not allow wagons in the park. It
No.
is not a wagon-oriented place. Like,
No.
honestly, sometimes strollers are even a little bit iffy on the sizing because they make bigger strollers. Just see what the park accommodates. They're
Yes. And
pretty
follow the
accommodating,
rules
honestly, and make sure that your stroller folds, and it folds quickly. You do
quickly and easily.
people waiting for you to get on the bus, to get on a boat, get on the monorail, whatever transportation that are using, especially not in the tram parking lot.
Yes.
Just leave it folded. You can walk 20 feet. You can walk 20 feet
Yes.
your car to the front. I know it might not seem possible, but I promise you it is possible for you to walk those 20 feet and leave it folded because
Yes.
it
Try to
will
fold
literally start your day so much easier.
try to fold your stroller a few seconds before you get on the transportation, whatever
Yes.
kind of transportation you're taking. Try to fold it a few seconds before that you load. That way, people aren't waiting on you. The baby's not fussy. Everything's settled. Mom or dad's holding the baby or toddler, and everything's folded up, ready to roll. It
Yes.
just makes life so much easier when you do that.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. And honestly, one thing that I wish they would have had more of and just better quality whenever I was a kid that they make now is a stroller cover. Those are
Yes.
so great for rainy days. But
Yes.
like I remember we would literally like come out of an attraction and my stroller would be wet and I'm like, Mom, I'm not getting in this.
Yeah,
Like
when
I'm
you were a little bit
not.
older and Disney at that time had like a jogging stroller you could
Mhm.
rent, and we rented
Right.
that because you were a little bit older. You weren't
Right.
a baby or a toddler at that point. Um, but kids that age still get tired from walking. That's a lot of walking. People don't
Right.
realize how many steps you put in a day at the
Mhm.
theme parks, but you have
Right.
to, take that into consideration. And if your child's even still a little bit older than toddler age, a stroller is still a good idea. And those park strollers are great for that age
Yes.
because they're the hard plastic. The kids can climb in and out as they need to. And if you tip them when you park them, then you're keeping the sun off of them and the rain out of them. So they
Yeah.
dry easily because they're the hard plastic, which is
Mhm.
great on rainy days.
Yes, for sure.
Or even just carry a little microfiber cloth to dry it off with.
Yes, absolutely. And those are also I haven't thought about it until now, but those are honestly something that you might even want to bring into the park anyway, is like just a towel to help you cool off. Cause like I know if you put a towel like behind your neck, it'll help you cool off. That's one thing,
Yes.
honestly, you might want to bring for your baby or your toddler as
I
well,
was about to
just to
say,
help cool them off because it gets hot in Florida.
and it gets hot in a stroller, and people don't realize that.
Mhm.
Yes, your baby's all cozy, comfy, but when that sun comes out and that mixes with that Florida heat and humidity, it gets hot. And you have to make sure that that baby is cool enough to be comfortable
Yes,
and
and I would
safe.
make sure as well, bring sun protection for your baby or your toddler, sunscreen,
Yes.
hat,
Hat,
sunglasses,
sunglasses,
shoes.
it may sound a little extreme, but sunglasses are so important. It
Mhm.
protects their eyes, that heat and reflection from the concrete and the asphalt and just the attractions that are around and all the glass.
Yes.
Protect them every way you can.
Yes, and I would say too, like, I know one thing that a lot of us think is, "Oh, we don't need to reapply sunscreen." Like, I'm guilty of thinking that
True.
as an adult, but one thing that you have to start doing in parks, and I mean, I learned this personally, again, as an adult, the last time that I went to the parks, I got sunburnt for the first time. I've never been burnt in my entire life at a theme park. Now, otherwise, like, I am very, like, fair skinned. I'm gonna get burnt
Band
anywhere.
camp, you've gotten
Yes.
sunburned
I have
at.
literally gotten so sunburnt at band camp, but this past time that I went to Disney with our family, I got sunburnt. And I think like I'm emphasizing sun protection even more now.
Yeah.
And just like making sure, because I mean that's just super important for babies. You don't want them burnt. You don't want anybody in
Yeah.
your park burnt. Make sure that you're bringing sunscreen, the hats, the glasses. Those things are very, very important. And it will
Even
make it so
shoes.
much easier. Yes, shoes.
Shoes protect their feet from getting sunburned because that can be very painful.
Yes.
And if they're at the age that they're starting to take steps or standing up, it gives them the opportunity to do that wherever you are. We
Yeah.
have we have seen babies take their first steps on Main Street at Disney or in the hub grass at Disney, and it's super special. You know, you're on family vacation, and then your baby decides, I'm gonna try walking, but you want to
Mhm.
protect their little feet.
Yes,
Bring
absolutely.
shoes, even for them.
And, I feel like right now we are talking about, like, everything that we need to bring to the parks. We're about to get into the fun stuff in just a second,
Yes,
but I would say make sure to bring extras of, like, everything, and, especially I
everything.
say this, like, I'm not a parent, but, I am the, like, parent of a group when I go most of the
Yes.
time. Like, I carry the backpack with quite literally everything in it. When we went this past time, my cousin was like, "I bought a Coke bottle, and I just don't have like, I don't know where I'm supposed to put this while we go on Space Mountain." And just hand it over. Just I'm putting it in my backpack, like, "You're good." And then
Same
they're
thing when you were in marching band.
right. They were like, "Do you have this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got this." And don't
Mhm.
worry, in a couple weeks, we will have some, travel, like, packing list and things just to keep in mind. Hopefully, like, some printable
Yes,
things
we're gonna
to
add
kinda
some
help
printables
you.
to our
Yes.
website. Yes.
Yes, just to kinda help guide you as you're packing because you wanna bring things like, baby wipes, extra passies. Honestly, children drop those in the park
Oh,
all the
so
time.
many times, and trust me when I say you Disney is clean, but you do not
No.
want to mm-mm. Just toss
No,
it. Just
just
toss it and get another one.
yep, and make sure to, like, bring diapers, and, some parks have something really cool for little kids, and that would be splash pads. I know at Magic Kingdom, they have, like, is it Casey Junior
Casey
in
Jr., yeah,
Yeah, they've got Casey Junior, which is, like, a great splash pad area for, like, toddlers and babies, gets them to be able to cool off a little bit if they're a little bit cranky because of
and
the
run around.
out. Yeah, it gets a lot of their energy out, and, again, the cutest thing ever,
It
little
is.
toddlers, little babies, oh my goodness, I just love seeing them at Disney and Universal so much because 'cause they're getting to have that fun, and, again, it's one of those situations that they might not remember this, but you will, and it is
Yes,
just so sweet,
100%. And that's the important part is that you're making those memories.
Right.
Now, one of the most important things that you can bring for your baby and toddler and for the whole family as well, snacks.
Yes.
Let me repeat, snacks.
And let me repeat one more time. Snacks.
So, so important. And we always talk about carrying Ziploc bags, and this is another one of those times that we always take them. We
Yes.
always pack snack bags everywhere we go, but especially in the theme parks. You're waiting in lines, you're busy doing things. And let me just say, when a toddler is hungry, they are hungry right then.
Yes.
And toddlers tend to like instant gratification.
Um,
Dads do too. Yes, they want their snacks. Yes.
but seriously, pack non-perishable snacks with you, like, bring them with you. I mean, personally speaking, if I was a toddler, probably those, like, little Gerber, like, little puffs. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, little
Like, little
cereal
yeah.
things, Cheerios, Goldfish,
Mhm.
toddler friendly snacks.
Yes,
And then
those
for the
are
older kids, whatever they like
right.
as well. And the
Those
adult.
are so, so good for toddlers because a lot of the time if you can't figure out what's going on, if they're cool enough to you, they're hungry.
They're
I mean,
hungry.
that just goes for adults too, like,
Absolutely.
my husband's learning that about me, like, if I if I'm slightly hungry, I might get a little moody, I can't help it, but
Yeah.
everyone does. Toddlers are not exempt from that. Make
No.
sure to bring snacks, and, even if you don't necessarily bring snacks in the park, remember, those parks have snacks.
Yes.
I
They
would
have
even put aside a little
goldfish.
money for that.
They have goldfish type snacks. They have cookies. They have crackers. They have
Yes.
all sorts of things available. Pretzels, fruit, dried fruit. You name it, they have it.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. And something else too that I've learned, I love kids' meals at theme parks.
Yes.
They are my favorite
Yes.
thing. But like you can split those between people as a snack. Like if you want
Mhm.
a little bit more filling, I mean, even if you have like two or three children, one of the best things that you can do is like you can get them a portion of fruit. You can get them a portion of like if you go to Pinocchio's
Village
um
House. Yeah.
Village House, you can get like a little flatbread pizza and you can get fries or
Split it.
something to go with it. And I promise you, that'll keep me happy for hours. I know that will keep a toddler happy. And it's like
Yes.
what maybe, I mean, at most, it's $10, like at most.
Mhm.
And that's like it's super great because you can split that even between like two adults. But like really with like toddlers and babies, if they're like just now starting to get to like the solid food stage, that's a fun stage to be at whenever you're at
Yes.
parks. But remember, keep in mind, like you can split that kind of stuff with them.
Absolutely. And it, like you said, it's more substantial, so it holds
Mhm.
them over a little longer.
Right. And one thing I will say is I feel like we've seen like a lot of moms nurse at Disney.
Yes.
Where we've gone Disney and Universal both. I honestly told my husband, and I've told my mom this my whole life. I do not like to spend money on things. I just don't. It is not something I do. But when I do, it's something good. Okay.
Yes.
And recently, this is not sponsored, I purchased an Arctic cooler and the ice in it lasted from Thursday to the following Thursday. And I mean, that thing had been open. I honestly, I can't even tell you how many times we opened that thing, but there was still ice in it on the following Thursday. And
Yes.
I will say you cannot bring like big hard coolers into the parks, but what you can bring is like a lunch bag or a small cooler bag. It cannot have loose ice in it. It must be an ice pack. And I'm going to emphasize that one more time. You cannot have loose ice in your bag,
No.
but that is very helpful if moms that are nursing have milk or they've got like little packs of milk or whatever to bring that into the parks with them to still have that option.
The loose ice is a safety risk
Yeah.
because it can leak and cause slippery places that people can fall, and it's a danger. So
Yes,
the ice packs
absolutely.
are the way to go, and you can just stick them in the freezer again, refreeze them, and you're ready to roll.
Yes, and one thing I will say is with those lunch bags, if you are a mom who is nursing, they have lockers at the front of the parks most of the time that you are able to go stick that in and you can just leave it in there. And it's in a cooler place too because those lockers are typically out of the sun.
Yeah, they're usually in a shaded area.
Yeah, and so that is very, very helpful is to remember, like, it's not always practical to like run up front. So really plan your like you don't have to super plan your day, but have a plan in mind if you are going to use a locker. And again, it's not necessarily a requirement that you use one. You can even put it like on the underside of your stroller to keep it a little bit cooler. But do plan for that if you are going to utilize a locker.
Yes, yes. You can, you can send your spouse to run grab something, or, just go, hey, we'll stop back by here and then we'll head this way, after that.
Mhm.
You can kind of work around it. Now, what were some of the brands of the lunch bags you said that were supposed to be pretty good?
So some of the brands I've seen, I mean, Yeti is a big one that everybody has kind
Yeah.
of just said. Arctic, I have learned personally, I love that brand. I want just about everything from Arctic. It is so
Yes.
good. And I will say like we bought the 52 quart cooler. And let me tell you, that thing holds a lot. It holds a lot. And I mean, honestly, I'm recommending that even for the road trip down there. If you're coming from up north and you need to bring something down, I highly recommend that. But again, remember, you cannot bring that into the park. And then the final brand that I've seen that people have used is Titan. And
Mhm.
I've seen people use that for like baseball games and all that, and it lasts like all day.
Yeah.
So I would just highly recommend, again, none of that is sponsored, but I highly recommend those brands.
And
They've
you've had
I've seen
personal experience with the Arctic because
yes,
you have to meal prep because of gluten issues. So you packed meals in
right.
yours and
Yes,
they
and that was
lasted.
I mean, it was super, super helpful, and, I mean, honestly, highly recommend that. Again, set aside a little bit of money here and there and just save for one. You don't have to have it right now, but if you are planning on having kids, maybe even put that on a baby registry.
Oh,
Might
that's
not
a
seem
good
necessary,
idea.
but, like, that's
That's
something
a
to
really good idea.
consider.
That's awesome. Okay, now one of the things I want us to hit on are things that the theme park has that
Yes.
you can bring, but you don't always have to bring. They are available to you. We
Mhm.
already talked about the lockers and we
Yes.
talked about snacks. They also have something that's free that we have always taken advantage of.
And it's
And
my favorite thing in Florida because it's so hot.
yes, it is free ice water. You can get free ice water, and that can be such a relief in the Florida heat.
Oh, yes. I
Es
cannot emphasize that enough. It is
especially for little ones.
Mhm.
And bring I mean, if you want to, bring the lemonade packets or liquid
Yes.
IV or something to keep your electrolytes up, something for little ones that they enjoy, to drink,
Mhm.
and just the pure water is the best thing for them. But,
Yes.
bring something that or get the free ice water and keep them hydrated because it is just as important to hydrate those babies as it is, I'm sorry, to keep ourselves hydrated. Even though they may not be running around doing things, just being in that heat and
Mhm.
humidity can dehydrate anyone.
Absolutely. One of the things that I think the parks has that is so much fun for anybody of any age, but especially babies and toddlers, is the first visit buttons at Disney World.
Yes, I love that.
Those are so cool. And something if you want to commemorate like a special trip for somebody, like if you're taking a baby or toddler for the first time, is I believe I could be wrong on this, but I believe it is the Christmas store in Magic Kingdom specifically that I know does this.
Yes.
You can pay like I think it's maybe $3 per design or something.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's
less heck
not
than
much.
that. But you can get their name like personalized on the little button. And like I think it's just like a couple dollars per design, like I said. So you can get like fireworks or whatever, but it's like it's so beautiful. Like I'm gonna do it
I've
for me the
seen
next time I
them.
go. I don't even know what I'll be celebrating the next time I
Yes,
go, except
but
being
we're
there
gonna
because I
celebrate
missed it.
something.
But I'm still gonna get one. So I mean, seriously, kids love that kind of stuff, and a lot of
Yes.
the time I will say I feel like I see cast members even reaching out to kids even more if they know that it's their first time going and they see that button. They're so excited that those kids are there. Everybody's
Yes.
so excited. And it's not just at Disney, it's at Universal and all those places too. They want to know it's your first time. They are so excited for you when you get there.
Absolutely, and it's such a big deal, and you can have that memory to keep, and that's
Yeah.
we still have first time buttons. We have, I'm celebrating buttons from, like, the 100th time you rode Big Thunder Mountain, we have
200 time.
sorry, excuse me. We have so many of the I'm celebrating buttons for big things that we commemorated, for our
Yes.
family, and it's just so much fun to go back and look at them now after all
Yeah.
these years.
And something else that's really cool that they offer, like, for little kids is whenever they can't, like, ride a ride because 'cause they're not quite tall enough. I mean, I think a lot of 'em's, like, 42 inches, I think, used to be, like, the height,
For
like, one of
something.
the for some of the, like, smaller things, I
Yeah.
wanna say, like, 42. There are some that's it's a little bit taller than that, but, a lot of the rides are, like, 42 inches, I believe, that
Mhm.
or it's, like, a good safety net for your child to be that height for some rides, but, like, let me tell you, there's still plenty for toddlers and babies to do if they're not.
So
But
much.
they have these certificates that they will give to babies or toddlers, and it's like you can basically it's like a fast pass, essentially,
The
if you know what that
future.
is, and, like, by the time that they're that age or that they're that height that they can ride that ride, you can go in the line and it's a little bit faster for you because
Yeah.
you get to ride that day and you waited that many like years or however long it has been, then you can go and you can use that little certificate and it's so sweet. It is so sweet.
It is. I mean, it's another memory to treasure,
Yes.
too, actually, because you have the certificate saying, "Come back,"
Mhm.
and then
Absolutely.
you get to go back and you actually get to ride the ride and you have that memory as well, which is really fantastic. And we touched a little bit on splash pads
Mhm.
earlier. Those are something that are really great for the little ones.
Yes.
They can burn energy, they can cool off. It's fun. There are so many interactive things, and they even have one at Disney Spring. Actually, no, they have multiple at Disney Springs.
Mhm.
If you're just out shopping, bring their swimsuit or something that you don't mind them getting wet and playing in,
Yes.
and let them play there as well. It's not isolated just to the theme parks. It
No.
is all around property. You have these opportunities for your children to cool off. They know the Florida heat is nothing to joke about. So
Right.
they take it seriously and offer lots of opportunities to cool the kids off.
And again, if you are using those splash pads, reapply sunscreen after. I cannot emphasize
Yes.
it enough. Those little babies, they need it. They do. And it's just so incredibly important, and make sure that it's like a good SPF and all of that. Make sure that they are extra protected. It does not matter what you use as an adult. It matters what your baby has on as well.
100%.
And something that I think is really cool that's all around property, if your kid loves water, are the water parks. I know Universal has Volcano Bay and Disney has Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach.
Blizzard
Those
Beach.
are
I'm a little nostalgic about both of those. Because we worked at both of them.
yeah.
We started at Blizzard Beach and we picked up shifts at Typhoon Lagoon as well and got to know people there. And
Mhm.
the water parks are amazing. They are
Yes,
really
absolutely.
great with little ones because you can put in a full day, you can stay cool. There are places you can get shade. There's tons of food and snack options. You have it all right
Mhm.
there. And you can
And
just find one place to kind of camp out for the day.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but one, tickets are a lot cheaper than theme parks, and
Yes,
two, doesn't Blizzard Beach have like a little kids area, like Tykes? Is it
both both
Tyke?
parks do.
I don't remember what it's called, but I know that they have like it's friendly for
Yeah,
little
both
kids.
both of the Disney water parks have areas that are meant for kids.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, if they're tall enough, they can do all the things,
Right.
but they have areas specific for little ones that they can be more comfortable.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun. Now, I'm not as familiar with Volcano Bay,
Mhm.
but I know that they have lots to do there.
Remember too, if your child is going to be in a splash pad, if they are going to be at Typhoon Lagoon, Blizzard Beach, Volcano Bay, any of those areas, bring the water diapers. Those are so incredibly
Yes.
important.
Swim diapers are so important. It is a safety factor.
Mhm.
And it protects other people as well as your little ones. So
Yeah,
make sure you put them in a swim diaper.
that is
Super
so
important.
important.
Yeah, super, super important. Now, something else that you need to think about when you're in the theme parks, a way that you can cool off
Mhm.
and something that little ones enjoy are the shows. The shows can be an amazing thing to do with your little ones.
Yes, absolutely.
Like the Nemo show,
Mhm.
Festival of the Lion King, Disney Junior has shows.
Yes. Who doesn't
There
wanna see Nemo while they're in the park? And
uh,
also, who doesn't wanna see a fire juggler and a bird, like, flying?
exactly flying
I
through the
mean, the
air.
tumble monkeys, oh, don't even get me started. Let me tell you, I could have a whole nother podcast specifically about Festival of the Lion King.
Yes.
I love that so much. But that is seriously such a great opportunity for little kids and toddlers. Whenever you see their faces, I mean, it is total amazement. I mean, adults too, but
And
especially toddlers.
one that is often overlooked, that please do not overlook this one, Turtle Talk with Crush.
Oh my goodness.
Let me just say, as much as the kids enjoy that, the adults will get an even bigger kick out of it.
Mhm.
It
And
is
especially if your toddler's, like,
great.
learning how to talk and they get to ask Crush a question. Oh,
Yes,
trust me. You
because
wanna
it's
watch it.
it's live feedback and it's
Mhm.
hilarious.
Yes,
Just do it. Just
absolutely.
go do it. It's awesome.
And, now that you bring up Turtle Talk with Crush, the Seas is such an amazing opportunity for toddlers.
Yes, and it is a great place for kids to nap.
Yes, and to learn all about these different animals, it is
Yes,
so amazing, and, Rafiki's Planet Watch at Animal Kingdom is also another great place to take your kids if they're, like, napping or if they
want to
just
learn about
want to see
animals. There's a
animals.
petting zoo. Yeah, everything. It
It is
is
so
so great.
awesome.
Now, before we wind everything up,
Mhm.
um, another thing to remember is that parks often offer something called ride swap that you
Yes.
can do. If you're the parent of a child who is too young or small to ride the ride,
Mhm.
you can swap out parents who gets to ride next.
Yes, and I believe Universal specifically, I've seen it, I wanna say I saw it on, like, Transformers or something whenever I was with dad and
Yeah.
my uncle, and they had, like, a little room, like, in
Mhm.
the building. Like, you don't have to wait outside, but they've got, like, a room in the building that is air conditioned, and
Yes, that's
and
nice.
let me repeat that, air conditioning for those who didn't hear it. Like, if you're from Florida like I am, you're gonna want that, I promise. You're gonna love it with all of your heart.
Yes.
But remember, like, you can still ride rides and have fun with toddlers, you know? Like, you
Yes.
can ride rides and have fun with the babies. And, I have absolutely loved sharing all the stuff that you and I have
It's
learned
been
about
so
public
much
lands.
fun.
Like, I think, honestly, some of my favorite trips were whenever I was a baby and toddler, and thank you so much for having me this week.
Oh, it's been so much fun. I love it when we get to do this together. And I
Absolutely.
love sharing everything that we've experienced with other people who are doing this
Yes.
now.
And remember, make sure to check us out on social media. We're on
Yeah.
Instagram. We just added, we're just now on Threads and
Yes.
check us out on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you find your podcast, be
All
sure
the
to check us
things.
out. We're so excited to hear from you guys, and we can't wait to see you soon. Remember, break the monotony.
Not the bank.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.